the greatest adventure. He wants to leave his house for the first time ever.
Hey, welcome to This Week in Nerd History. This is a podcast where we talk about all the fun, dumb, silly, nerdy stuff from the past, present, and the future. I'm Mike, creative director at Dorkly and Lowbrow. Joining me, we have AJ, production manager at Lowbrow, and apparently Wild Wild West rap expert. And we've got Sal, Shire historian and host over at Comic Pop. How you guys doing today?
Super
Excellent.
Right. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about today. There's a little indie movie series called Lord of the Rings. I think they made books out of the movies. So they're trying to get like a signal boost for them to give them a chance. We want to talk about the new game Astrobot and some other cool stuff, Secret Level that's coming out on Prime. But before we do that, before we get into all that stuff, we have another exclusive interview this week with Sonic the Hedgehog from Sonic for Hire and some other games, I guess, or whatever. So he's calling in from his super mega yacht, he said. So let's welcome Sonic.
Hey guys, sorry I got to call in, but the Wi-Fi sucks here on my mega yacht. You know how that is.
Yeah, no problem at all. What'd you think of the Sonic 3 trailer?
Oh, it's a must-see. It's an explosive thrill ride from taint to tip and tip to taint and back again.
You didn't watch it, did you?
I did not. I got to be honest with you. I didn't even know they made a second one. Please don't tell me Knuckles is in it.
Yeah, he even has his own spin-off show now.
At least it wasn't Tails.
So any update on the second half of Sonic for Hire Season 9?
No. You got to ask Poindexter over there. All I do is cash the checks.
He's talking to you, Poindexter.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Well, speed it up, Poindexter. Hey, you're using the cool photo of me, the one where I'm jumping out of the helicopter and making out with the supermodels, right?
Yes.
Good. All right, well, I got to go take my mega yacht over to Mega Yacht Island and do some mega... Hands up, groundhog. Back to your cell.
Your call has been disconnected.
So I guess he's in jail or something?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's
Okay.
in prison, definitely.
That makes
Sounds
sense.
right.
That makes sense. All right, so this is Today in Nerd History, and we want to talk about a game that just came out, Astrobot, on the PS5. It looks super fun. I mean, it looks like it's like a super creative platformer and everything, but like they do such a great job of it's a lot of like nostalgia stuff, but like just being in a really fun, creative way of kind of just taking through PlayStation's history and like getting to be all those different characters.
Yeah, one of the articles I read said that like this is the game that makes you buy a PS5, and I couldn't agree more. For me personally, it's like as soon as you see it, you're like, oh, this is a combination of the 1999 Mac design and and Eve from Whaley, and it's just like
definitely.
cuteness smashed together. Yeah, I want to play that.
Yeah, it looks like it takes like the things that I liked from Little Big Planet and like makes it more modern and fun, but also retro. I'm excited to try this.
I don't have a PS5. I'm going to try to see if I can get it to work on my broken Wii. And
Yeah.
you know,
That's right. In my house, we usually say in order to buy a new console, we need at least like 2 good games that we want to play to make it worth our while. But here I'm like, I kind of want to go all in on this one. And then, more will come eventually.
I saw a question on our last episode. Somebody was asking, like, they wanted to know what we thought about the PS5 being disc-less.
Yeah. No thanks.
I know.
How do I play my disc games? The games that I
Right.
purchased physically.
You got to use your Wii. You got to try to get it to
plug
work
it
on
into the Wii.
That's what you-
What? You connect? Is this a real thing? I can't tell if you're trolling
No.
me. What the? I do have our Wii. I have the Wii U still.
So you should be fine. If you just
We'll be
connect
fine.
it directly into the back of the PS5,
Doesn't even make sense. They're not even the same.
and then you need like the Wii Fit board. That plays a pretty pivotal part in it. You've got to put them
Yeah.
both in the Wii Fit board.
You need
Yeah.
6
Well,
joysticks
it's all intuitive.
connected to all of your
The thing is, once
joints.
you get like 2 or 3 of them together, they start glowing. And so you'll know that it's working.
Connect it with the
Yes.
Switch somehow. Can we
That's
talk about Sal's haircut? Because it looks great.
Oh, thank you very
Oh,
much. Yeah.
nice.
No, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, my wife cuts my hair.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, it happened during the pandemic. I just, my hair was like, she's like, it needs to go now. And I bought these scissors, and it's going to
much.
get off of your head. And
Oh, she went
and
with scissors, not even like a buzzer?
no, she has a buzzer too. Now we do the buzzer. I'm just like, just buzz it, please. Like, don't. But she's very good at it. Like, she actually did like the scissors and everything like that. It just takes a while. But
My when I was in college, for whatever reason, like the group of guys on the floor just assumed that I could cut hair because I was artistic. I'm like, guys, I don't
You seem
know
artsy.
how to
Take these
do this.
scissors.
And they were just like,
Yeah.
no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And so I would just fuck up their hair so bad. It's like, I don't know. They're like, yeah, just give me like a fade. I'm like, I don't know what that, I don't know how to do
what?
that.
I don't know how to do a fade.
Well, yeah, and like guys in college, they're probably like, this looks amazing. This is just as good as anything that I would have gotten in like a salon.
I've cut at least 4 men's hairs, maybe 5. One of them hated it. The
So
rest
this is
have been fine, and also 2 of them are juveniles, aka my sons.
I see. Okay.
All right, well,
Okay. At
They
first
don't
I was
complain,
like, this is
but
a
one
thing.
of them
Like,
hated it, and
Right.
like was like didn't. Also, was my boyfriend at the time, and then didn't want to like talk to me for a while. It
Right,
was
and he was-
What was the type
devastated.
of haircut? Was it like short or was it like
he had really long hair. He essentially grew his hair out like it was the pandemic, except it wasn't. Because the last time he got his hair cut was when he was on vacation, and he decided he never wanted to get his hair cut again, except by that barber on vacation.
that was me too.
So I was
feel like
like,
that's
I can't.
limiting.
You like, I don't. It doesn't look good. I want to cut it. And so I tried to cut it, and he was mad because he thought I made him look like a woman. And I was like, no, that's just your face.
Yeah, that's genetics, man. I'm sorry.
So,
I like this
welcome back to the
haircut.
hair podcast, guys. We've made a switch. It's a subtle switch here, but this is only talking about hairstyles.
Hard
and
turn
haircuts.
right.
Yeah, we pulled him in with Sonic, but this is where we get the meat and the potatoes of the show.
This is
folks.
gonna be this whole bit's gonna be just on the Patreon.
the whole show.
Just
Yeah.
if you want to know about our hair
Yeah.
techniques.
We're developing a haircut game. It's an early.
That's such a
Viz
good
Dev,
idea
right?
if they
That
don't
would be
already
so
have one.
fun.
Wow.
That would be really fun.
You just
They have,
threw
like,
away
you know,
a
they have
better
those-
idea.
There's got to be a
Right? There's
simulator,
gotta
like a
be.
haircut simulator, right?
Like how you can be a doctor and cut into actual humans. Why can't you cut hair? As
Yeah.
There's got yeah.
If there's a
Shit.
surgery simulator, there should also be.
I would do
We've
that in
trademarked this
VR.
already, everybody. This is already.
That'd be so fun in VR.
I mean,
Right?
I watched the trailer for Paint Simulator. I'm like, all right. Or it was
like you could just do it.
A trailer?
spray paint.
You can just
Oh,
paint
I've seen that
on a
too.
wall.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can just do that.
I was just like, it's one of those sort of like, it's like a cozy, satisfying game. But I'm like, I don't know. But it also involves like mask out the window and tape up and prep the floor. I'm
Oh,
like, all right.
What?
God.
You have to do that. That's all the shit you don't want to do when you're
Right?
painting.
It's
Do
literally,
not
I think
put
it's
that
just,
in
like,
the
clicking
game.
on the window and then it's like
Okay.
taped and masked out and stuff like that. You're not just like,
All right.
Right.
Fine.
Renovate your kitchen.
You didn't tape straight. Now there's a crooked line.
Yeah. Oh no!
Negative
Here comes your
points.
wife. She's gonna be pissed.
you bought
You
too
didn't put
much
the drop
paint.
cloth
You didn't
down.
buy
There's
enough
paint all over the floor.
You
Subtract
got paint on
$300.
her favorite chair.
And then when you're done, you clean up for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, roundabout way of saying Astrobot looks fun.
Yeah.
Howdy there, folks. Video James here. And surprise, she hasn't left. I didn't catch her name. What was it?
Voltronica.
Voltronica? Like the robots? All right, a bit of a surprise. Well, today's sponsor, GamerSups, has another surprise. We got 3 all-new flavors: Browser Brew, Sploosh, and Pom Pom Punch. So click on the link in the description and head on over to GamerSups. Oh, and don't forget to pick up some free samples, too. It's a great deal and really helps out the channel. Now, back to AJ, Sal, and Mike.
All right, so another topic for today in nerd history. Coming up in, I think it's December 10th on Prime, is a new show, Secret Level, which is done by the guys that did Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. So I'm a huge fan of that whole series. It's a super cool looking, creative, like all these crazy different styles and everything like that on these like wacky stories. So Secret Level is, it's all similar setup, it seems like, but it's all based around video games. So there's like Armored Core, which I should have mentioned last. Armored Core was like an awesome PlayStation game. I fucking love that game. There's a Dungeons and Dragons, Mega Man, Pac-Man, Warhammer. There's like a ton of like, it all looks cool, and it's all done by that same team that did Love, Death, and Robots, which is Blur Studio. Mm-hmm. And for anybody who doesn't know who Blur Studio is, like any cutscene from any cool game that you've played, they've done that. Like they've directed and animated it and art directed, all that stuff. So like just a ton of cool shit. And it is run by Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool.
Yeah.
And so they were also like involved in the whole Ugly Sonic debacle.
Oh
early
no.
on.
Oh, no.
I was watching a couple of videos and some articles and stuff a while back about it, and the guy, like the designer of Ugly Sonic, I can't remember his name, sorry, but like
He doesn't need
worked-
you to remember it. Please don't
He doesn't
name
want his
drop
name
me.
out
Good,
there.
I'm good.
The man responsible for Ugly Sonic.
Let's put his picture up right now and his home address. He worked at Blur Studio and for like 15 years or so, and he was an animator, like first and foremost. So he kind of approached the character design from an animator's point of view of like what are the things that Sonic needs to accomplish in this movie or in this world where he's interacting with, you know, actual humans and stuff like that. So like the shoes needed to seem like he took them from like an actual kid, or found them and they were like kids' shoes. And, you know, he needs to be able to like interact, so his hands should feel real. All these things that like kind of, you know, and he needs to emote a certain way. So let's make his, like all these things that inform how that character came about. But like the final result is just this like Frankenstein realistic nightmare.
It was brutal.
Like, I don't know why you would think that like we care about like whether it's realistic that Sonic could high five James Marsden or not, but like
I know.
I don't need to like see real chili from the chili dog on his cheek and like how it would interact physically with like his skin. What kind of skin does a living hedgehog man have? It doesn't. No, nobody.
We
nobody
developed
He's
this
not from
chili
this world.
simulator from the ground up.
That'd be so. You know that like there is like where it's like thrown at a
Splatter.
wall.
Yeah.
Splatter simulator for chili, but it's only chili. Like what kind? Vegetarian?
Have you guys played Chili
Extra
Simulator?
bean.
It's pretty good.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's no spray paint simulator, but it's
No.
it's all right.
The
Not
chili,
as-
you
it's
know,
like haircut simulator, chili simulator, spray paint simulator.
that's fair.
Yeah.
You know you could do that too, where it's like you make different chili, different ingredients and
Yeah.
different levels of spice, and then you have a chili con carnival at the end of it, and you put it all
Yeah.
together. Like,
We've made 2 games in the first 15 minutes of this podcast, guys.
yeah, we have thrown away
Somebody-
millions of dollars.
Contact us. If we're putting it out there, is it automatically trademarked or
Yeah, I
TM.
think that's how it works.
Chili
I think
Simulator
if we say
TM?
trademark, like trademark, and then if
Trademark.
we're good. Yeah, it's like calling
Click.
dibs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Shotgun. I got it first.
One thing I wanted to bring up too is before we get into Lord of the Rings and everything, one of the segments from Secret Level is for a game called Concord, which has been in the news recently. It's
Yes.
what is it? It's like a first-person shooter game. So it came out, it was released like the last week of August, and then 2 weeks later it got killed because I guess like the sales were poor or whatever reason. It's just like super high stakes where if a game isn't performing like right out of the gate, it just gets like killed. Anybody who bought it got refunds and everything like that. But one of the weird things, and it kind of comes back to like the diskless systems or consoles where everything's just downloaded, is that Sony, I believe it was Sony who was made the game, or the studio behind it or whatever, they then deleted the game off of everyone's consoles.
Yeah, people
is
like complaining about the death of media. Like this is
Yeah.
an example of that, where it's like, oh no, we're just gonna reach into your hard drives and pull. Like it never.
It's the
existed. You never
opposite
actually
of the
played that.
U2 debacle where they just put all
No,
just
I
gonna
don't want it.
give you
have
all U2.
I want to delete YouTube off of my freaking machine.
Sony
you
took the
can't
Concord out and replaced it with the YouTube app.
with the YouTube soundtrack. So
But
funny.
it's such like a weird. I mean, because I guess apparently, like after the server shut down on Concord, like if you start up the game, it just goes to the title menu and doesn't do anything else because there's nothing there. So like,
Yeah.
all right, that's fine. But it's like this weird invasion of privacy thing or
Yeah.
whatever, where it's just like, I bought the game, just let me like.
Yeah.
There are games that I've bought and I knew ahead of time they're going to be shitty, but I wanted to play it anyway. Like, just let me play a shitty game if I want to.
Yeah.
What's that one? Not that it's shitty, but what's it?
Well, it's
Merge
not-
Mansion. We're
it's-
trying to get sponsored by Merge Mansion.
Merge Mansion, come sure. No, that's on my phone. No, the Bluey game, because my kids love Bluey, and they're like, we're pretty hard about like, all right, if we're gonna buy something, we're gonna read reviews on it first, and a lot of the reviews say it's a little glitchy, so we're like, we don't think we should buy this because it's glitchy. And my son was like, I want it anyway, and we're like, all right. So like when he plays it, and there's like a part where you have to like jump over like stones over the river, and if you don't jump exactly right, you just like it just pulls your character back. You don't like ever die, but it's just like there's certain areas where it's like a little glitchy, and he'll start to get frustrated, and we'll be like, we told you this was gonna happen, bud. And he's like, okay. Like, it's glitchy, but he still loves it. He played through he beat the game, and then he played through it again and beat it a second time. Like he did, you know, he does 100% completion. He's very much my son.
So we'll call this segment is everything in nerd history.
Everything.
We cover a bit of everything everywhere. So we're going to start with a little bit of yesterday.
Yeah.
And before we get into the very influential, hugely, you know, culturally important series of Lord of the Rings, there's another show that was quite possibly just as important that I want to share with you guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right. Street Sharks, guys.
Yay.
Also written by Tolkien. I would argue that they're all shark at this point. I don't know about half man, half shark.
Yeah.
They have legs. Sharks don't have legs. That's half man. They're
the shark's
top
doing
shark,
a lot of the heavy lifting.
bottom legs.
That's true.
That one guy has a face. Is he just like their buddy? Also arms.
Also, I'll play it again in a second. This should be over by now. There's another 30 seconds of this thing.
Is this what? This is just the intro? I mean, you...
Yeah, whale on that sax.
We get it.
Yeah, Street Sharks.
So,
Man,
Bum, bum, bum.
like, it's just this desperate like me. We're trying to get, like, any runoff from the Ninja Turtles. Like, I mean, I grew up with Street Sharks. I remember them. I watched, like, 2 seconds, and, like, I was like, no. Like, just immediately no. I know what the Kmart brand of things are. I'm not interested.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
I'm
The
not
toys are
gonna buy
great.
your shit.
toys were pretty awesome.
I mean, like they're great rubber, and Vin Diesel shilled for them, and
It's essentially it's a man, but instead of a neck and a head and a chest, this just all became shark.
Yeah,
I like how they still understand shame, and so they have to wear clothes.
They had to wear clothes.
Yeah, you
Shark
can't just have
dicks,
you
like,
can't have your shark bits hanging out and.
I feel like if I was
would
like
be a shark for a
17 and
day.
I was turned into a shark man, I'd be like, I'm ruined. Like I would just like try to
That's it.
I'd try to drown myself, and I'm like, oh no, I can
You
breathe
can't.
the water. Like, no, you can't die. You can't die. Street sharks.
Well, actually, do they need to go into water to breathe?
I don't think they did.
Yeah, they're not like Aquaman or whatever, where it's like if you don't go in the water after like 20 minutes, they'll die. Like
This is just good luck. Here you
That
go.
one
Good
shot
luck.
where they show the 4 teenagers and then needles.
Yeah, I
pointing
don't
at them.
like it.
I know.
That's terror.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nightmare-inducing.
my question is, but why? Was it their
Why not?
anniversary or?
Oh,
shit,
yes.
that's a really good
it's
point.
The
I don't
30th
remember.
anniversary.
Is there just gonna be a segment where it's like Mike
It's
pulls out
so
some
good.
like
Mike just
really
wants to
messed up
play
shit
really
from the
weird
80s and
shit.
That's the
90s?
whole reason. It's the 30th
Can we play the
Ah!
Gummy Bears theme too now, just for no reason? Yeah, it's the 30th anniversary of Street Sharks.
Oh, all right, good.
I was too excited about the dumbass trailer. That
Did
the
you
actual-
delete it from
why.
the doc?
No, it's the 30th anniversary. It's in
Oh,
there.
here it is.
It's really
Okay, yeah.
good in there.
Yeah.
Alright, it's at the
The
bottom.
30th anniversary.
30th anniversary.
30th anniversary of Street Sharks. I mean, I get why the repetition of the Street Sharks in that horrible promo, because if you actually
That's not a
sit
promo.
down-
That's the theme song. That's a minute each time. Listen, you've got to save on animation.
That's
Yeah.
a
When
theme
you've got
song
a
with
second
full
rate.
saxophone solo in the middle. They
Save
play that
that
full intro
money.
like 4 times throughout each episode too.
I mean, if only we could create some, because didn't they? I didn't watch Street Sharks, so I don't really remember if like they were always sharks. You know, like in the Toxic Avenger cartoon, people got toxic waste on them, and then they were mutants forever. Mm-hmm. But with Street Sharks, I don't know if like they were like Street Sharks transform and then became Street Sharks. Like, because if that's the case, that's actually way better, because then you can spend at least like 8 seconds of them transforming each one.
At the same time. Yeah.
You know, like, okay, all right, we did that one time. We sent it off to Korea. They made it, and then we just throw it in. Boom.
Exactly. There's actually no show. It was just the intro 5 times, and then like them changing 3 times, and then the credits. Like, is that?
Wait,
Buy toys.
I want to imagine a world that's like Roger Rabbit, where like after Alf got canceled, like Alf is the saxophonist for this theme. Like he's like, I could do other things.
As long as he eats your cats.
Yeah,
Right, like-
another Sal impression just pulled out of the hat.
That's
Fucking
just
Alf.
That's not even.
I'm writing
I mean,
it
I don't
down.
even.
What would Arnold
Hey,
say
I'm
about
Alf.
this?
I can do other things, you know. I could play the sax. Like, well, you're lucky we need a saxophonist for our Street Sharks promo.
And this promo is going to be in every episode. The whole minute.
It's gonna be in every episode. I'm gonna get residuals on that, right? I was on for 4 seasons. I'm not a sucker. I don't know how many seasons Alf had.
4 sounds
4
like-
sounds pretty generous, right?
right.
I mean,
It seems like a lot, but it also seems at the time like sure 4 36 episode seasons or whatever.
exactly.
It's like
4
a crazy
like,
amount.
It's either 4 or 10. Did you?
Also,
I'm
sometimes
sorry.
in my mind, Alf blends into Fraggle Rock, where Alf
Yeah.
becomes the dog that is with the old man.
Sprocket.
And then all of
Yeah.
all of Fraggle Rock is underneath their kitchen.
Well, you know, Alf is a puppet, and he has that like hair, like the real hair that like moves to convey motion,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the Fraggles do. So it's like, yeah,
Somebody was like, was the puppeteer for Alf like a menace on the set? Do you
yeah,
guys
he
remember
was a
doing
scumbag and a lunatic. Yeah, he was like a coke fiend. No, the guy who
were
made
there?
Alf.
God.
No, they made. There's a movie about him that is like intellectually distinct enough to not be liable, and it stars Ben Stiller, and it's just like a whole movie about like this coke fiend lunatic who is like, I'm like a genius. I created this puppet, and like he's funny and irreverent.
I didn't know there was like they made a movie. I just remember from,
It's not like
a random
about
story.
him. It's like
Yeah.
it's like this guy is so effing messed up. We should make a movie like a kind of about him. Did you ever see Project Alf? That was the TV movie that was after the show, because like the show got, you know, eventually the show stopped, and like the guy who played the dad like notoriously like hated the show and hated Alf and hated everyone involved, and like just when they hit cut, he just walked away. Like he'd never said anything to anybody, got into a car, drove away, and never came back. Quit acting, like it was just over for him.
just
like-
driving into the beach into the
A
Just
pleasure
drove into
to
the
work
ocean.
with.
But you know, like you're watching Al for
Don't
like
eat
all
the
these.
cat, Alf.
Yeah, you're watching Al for like 10 seasons or whatever, and then like you get like this closure, because the end of the show is like he tries to ET it, like he calls home, and he waits out in the woods, and then the government shows up and arrests everybody, and that's the end of Alf.
I didn't remember that. My God, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
and then they made a
traumatizing.
TV movie about like what happens afterwards, and so like it's really weird. Martin Sheen is in it.
What?
I'm like, what are all these real people doing in this horrible TV movie about Alf?
Oh my God, I need to like
yeah.
catch up.
Is it
on-
like in the same vein as the Elf show, or is it like a mockumentary about what happened?
It's like a movie. Like it's like Paul, where
Oh,
like Alf
wow.
is at the government facility, and like he's entertaining the people who work there, but they're also trying to like extract DNA from him, and it's just really weird. And they also, you're thinking like, okay, this movie writes itself. The Tanners show up and rescue him. No. There's a throwaway line in like the beginning of the thing where they're like, apparently for the last like 6-7 years he lived with a family called the Tanners. Yeah, we moved them to Siberia. I'm like, oh, okay.
them off.
Thanks for the closure. It took
The
the
dad
whole
didn't want to
family.
be there,
Right,
so
because Dad didn't want to show for the movie. Like, you couldn't have just the kids do it or something like that. No,
the kids could
Dad
have done
died.
a rescue
I
mission.
know. I
I'm
wish
sorry,
they did
I
just a
did.
Poochie ending for it. I have to go now.
I have to go now. Well, there was the cartoon.
Fuck, I'm forgetting about all these other things. My God, Alf, how did so many things exist for Alf?
Dude, Alf
Because
had...
he's so weird. He's got a baguette nose.
Yeah. Everything about him says hideous. Like, I don't like it, but it works, and I don't know why. He has dark, lifeless eyes like a shark's eyes. But he had a talk
He's got
show.
dark humor. You just, you want to watch
and
him.
bring it back to what Mike was saying, and the guy who created it was like a terror.
We're hitting all the topics here, guys. We got haircuts. We got street sharks.
I know. Mike's like,
making
this
games.
show is
Welcome to
over.
We got
This is a
chili
complete
simulators.
mistake.
All right, let's finally talk about some Lord of the Rings stuff. This is this week era, present, past, future of nerd history because it kind of spans all over the place. So this month, 87 years ago, The Hobbit was published originally, which is crazy. That's to put it in perspective. 87 years ago, 1937, the same year that Amelia Earhart disappeared and the Hindenburg crashed. So, like, it's also
We all
too,
remember
like,
those things happening.
coincidence. I
Where
don't know
were
if
you
that's
when
a
it
coincidence or
happened?
not. Some conspiracy. Hobbit comes out, she disappears, and the Hindenburg crashes.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
all related.
You know what I mean? Anyway, so like all of his books, Tolkien's books, weren't necessarily hugely popular until like they were obviously like well regarded and stuff, but they weren't hugely popular until the 60s. I think like 1966
like
when they all
30
got
years later.
republished as paperbacks and kind of
Yeah,
just
when everyone was getting
reintroduced.
kind of high.
Yeah, right?
60s.
I'm ready to read something weird.
Yeah.
I'm ready
I need
for
something that's going to be totally
two-
messed up and
I need
cheap.
to take me out of this world.
2 chapters describing what this tree looks like. I'm in it. I'm in.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, with The Hobbit, it's like, here's a bunch of songs sung by dwarves that are terrible. Yeah. And Nimoy's like, I am looking to distance myself from the Star Trek stuff. How about I sing the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins?
Wow. I always
just
forget
a-
that.
Wait,
That's
for
so-
real?
Oh, yeah.
Did
no,
he
it's...
He sang that? Is that the
Yeah.
the greatest adventure? Am I?
No, this is
What
more like
what's the-
it's more
Oh, it's a
like
different
hip
thing?
and stupid.
Oh.
It's horrible. And there's a music video, by the way, you could see from that era. But yeah, it's just a song that Nimoy sings about Bilbo, and it's just he riddled with Gollum, he battled a troll, a magic ring he stole. Yeah, it's fun to see Spock like really cut loose in that song.
Oh, in order to prepare for the Tolkien Hobbit bit, I rewatched the animated film from 1977, and what stood out to me immediately was that there's like a lot of discourse online about the Hobbit that is available to watch is not what people remember as the original. Like they changed a bunch of the sound effects and they changed a bunch of like the music apparently. So if you have like the original Hobbit that was released on like TV and you have it like recorded on a VHS, that's different than the version you can purchase. But the thing that I love the most about the movie that I wanted it to be a continual thing when the opening credits start and they say like it's the Hobbit or whatever, there's this song that plays and it says like the greatest adventure and it goes on all this other like it's very flowery and whatever, but then like 10 minutes later or so in the movie when there's like a lull in action and they just like kind of do a slow push in on Bilbo's face and it just does a little like reprise of the greatest adventure. And I'm immediately like, wait, did they spend all their money on one song and so they're just going to keep playing it throughout the movie? But no, like you go through the other like things, they have different songs, but I wanted it to be they just
that'd
replay
be
this clip
so
over and
great.
over again.
Every time.
I would love
Because
that.
it would be
That'd be
so
so great.
So I want to do an alternate fan cut
Yes.
where
Yeah,
I
the Greatest
just
Adventure
play
cut.
the greatest adventure cut, where anytime there's an awkward pause or you just the greatest, and then like I was like saying like I would wake up in the middle of the night and just like sing it. It's so fun.
The greatest.
The greatest adventure.
I like the idea that it's like making fun of him, like, because it's like the greatest adventure. Like because remember he goes against his better judgment and goes off on an adventure, which of course is against his his better nature. But then he's there and it's like that awkward pause where he's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this. The greatest adventure, like get in the barrel, like no, the greatest adventure, like just really push it. You gotta you this is what you wanted. You were on the greatest adventure.
Like, even when he's, like, into it, it's still really great. Like, yeah, I'm in. All right, I'm going.
Yeah, all right. All right, I'm doing it. He's fighting an orc.
Like, they play this as they're like, this person is this voice. This person, like, you can picture it.
Yeah.
It's so
drowning
fun.
out all of this.
What lies ahead today and tomorrow.
I feel like Bilbo now. Is just all I can hear.
Yeah, we need a shot where it's playing and one of us just.
Greatest adventures. What lies ahead.
Also, what I was going to do, I would put hours of prep into just The Hobbit, but nothing else. No, that's not true. But also, so I wanted to watch the live action Hobbit and kind of do like a compare. But there's a fan edit of the movies where they took all 3 movies, cut up the shit that doesn't matter, put it together, and also took what I think is really cool, took bits and pieces from like extended scenes and behind the scenes or like deleted scenes kind of thing, and they made a cut. It's a fan cut that's essentially like the book version. It's like the closest to, and it's called like the M4 edit.
That's so cool.
So instead of watching 6 hours of Hobbit, you can watch just the 4 hours of what's cool, but it will take you about 2.5 hours to figure out how to download it. So you won't save time, but you'll maybe see a better version.
Yeah, I did it. We did it. We've seen it. It's really bad, but also like
we got to the point where we downloaded it, and it was so late that we're like,
just
we
like
got to
next
do it
time.
another time. We can't do it right now.
Did you
is
download it
better.
on the Wii, or did you? How'd you download it?
We went
Did
to
you
a
use your
site
Wii?
and you start to download it. We used our Wii.
Naturally.
Yes. We connected it to the Wii. You start the download, and then you get like halfway through, and they're like, "Oh no, you exceeded your limit. You got to pay for this thing." And we're like, "All right, we'll pay $11 for a cut because like we're paying for a thing, whatever." So you pay for it, and then they're like, "Just kidding. You can't unzip a zip this big on your Mac. So you need to use a separate site to unzip it, or you need to download the entire unzipped version."
It is better than watching 3 horrible Hobbit movies.
Yeah.
Like I will say that. Like it's like, oh, this is kind of fun.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife hadn't seen. I don't think she'd seen the Hobbit. I don't remember. She's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, loved those movies and everything like that. But I think she didn't see any of the Hobbit movies. Like I saw them, and I'm like, how did you get away with not coming with me to see these horrible movies? But but so she's like, I guess I'll watch this. So we sat down and watched like that cut. She's like, yeah, that didn't need to exist. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
I know it's such a from just a cold business standpoint, it's a terrible thing, but like they just want to make money. They made a ton of money.
Yep.
The mission accomplished. It's going to happen the next time.
And let's
something
keep
else comes up
going.
like that.
Yeah.
Let's do more.
Exactly. But like
I
the
get
movies
it.
themselves is just like there's bits and pieces in every one that I'm like, that's great. This feels like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, like that kind of vibe. But there's so much where I'm just like, all right, I don't know. This is just doesn't
Once we
land.
get to
or whatever.
Lake Town, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know, all the Lake Town stuff. And then even like, honestly, if someone explained it to me, the third one, the Battle of the Five Armies, I'm like, I don't know what are the 5 armies? Like, I don't know the 5.
I couldn't list them.
Like, I've watched everything up to this point. And I'm like,
there's
I'm
like the
totally sure.
bird people. It's like everyone they met along the way. Everyone comes to fight for
Who's the
fun.
bird people?
I don't know. Aren't there bird people?
That's the Shire.
So there's
got
like
confused.
the elves, the dwarves, the street sharks, the
And the elves.
and the elves.
Or, I'm sorry, the Melmacians.
Keeping with Lord of the Rings in this entire segment, Rings of Power season 2 is currently out. I watched all of season 1, and there's like a lot of the stuff there's a ton of it that I liked. It did feel a bit slow. Like there's a lot to develop, a lot of characters to introduce, and sort of like remember him? He's the son of this person from the movies you remember, all that kind of stuff. So like a lot of like explaining of things. So it did feel like a bit slow at times to me. But there's a lot of cool parts, and then like, you could kind of, for me anyway, like figure out who Sauron was fairly early or midway through or whatever, just from like the way that they're foreshadowing stuff or whatever. But watching I haven't watched any of season 2. The trailer looked like it's a bit more epic this time around, where they've done the groundwork in season 1. One of the things I've been seeing, it looks cool, right? Yeah, there's I'll watch it just for the Balrog. Like I'm in for that. Whatever episode that dude shows up in, I'll watch.
Exactly. Just let me know what episode that is.
I know one of the criticisms from season 1, and there's already been some stuff for season 2, is just like where they're kind of, because it's not pulled from any book or necessarily like any one source, so they're expanding on it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the things that was interesting, or just a lot of people were just kind of thrown off about it, I guess, is that in season 2 they get into like the orcs, and there's an orc baby, so it's getting into like how they are actually like, because people just assume that the orcs were not like, they might be just getting them confused with like the orci, which are like the bigger dudes that are like born from the mud and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But in the Silmarillion, like Tolkien says, like the orcs create life like the elves and the men do, and humans and stuff. So like it, that implies he doesn't directly say like how their whole reproductive
they copulate system. And their gestation period is only like 6 months. Like
they're sort of damned if they do, damned if they don't with this sort of stuff, because like people who aren't familiar with it, just a casual viewer, they just like Lord of the Rings and they don't have to know all the books. Like they're just like, wait, orcs don't have babies, so they'll complain about it. But then for other stuff, if something's not quite following the way the books are laid out, then like people who know it all, know all that stuff, might have some issues with other stuff that are in there. So it's like a tough spot to be in. Try to enjoy it. It's like it's Lord of the Rings stuff. It's going to be cool. There's going to be parts that be cool, the parts you don't like.
Fun fantasy.
It's such like a crazy, great world. That's why I like the War of the Rohirrim. Excuse me. War of the Rohirrim. I get choked up. I'm very emotional. I'm very connected to this show that I haven't seen.
Understandable. Yeah.
But it's like the animated version, anime style. It takes place like 100 years before Hobbit.
Yeah, I don't recall. It's a while, but like I think it's about Theoden's grandfather or Theoden's father, but like it's
set 183 years before the events chronicled in the original trilogy.
There we go.
Gotcha.
And this one, I think like the idea is that like while the Rings of Power was made kind of like separately, like it's not really connected with the movies, like it's its own kind of thing, but it counts on you having seen them, because they're like, well, we're going to make reference, like, Galadriel, you know that name from those movies that are not directly connected to the show. War of the Rohirrim is part of the movie universe.
Okay, yeah, Julia just mentioned. Yeah, so that is getting released in theaters then. Okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like a full theatrical animated release.
Me too. Yeah. It's so rare and it's so fun.
So
I'm
cool.
like, they're real movies. I wanna see more like animated features.
I got to see this trailer in the theater, and it looked bangerang on a big screen.
Bangerang.
It was bangerang.
I'm hoping that, like, just in general, not to be a Debbie Downer on the whole topic, but it's just because it's been happening so much with like franchises, where there's like they don't throw too much stuff. I know we were just talking about a ton of different Lord of the Rings type shows coming out, because we also have the 2 movies that are coming out. Peter Jackson is producing them, directed by Andy Serkis. I think it's 2 movies it's the hunt for Gollum.
Yeah.
So like I just hope that it's like not overkill, like too much too fast kind of thing, like what happens so much. And like again, just coming from the heartless corporate point, like that's probably what's going to happen, because it's just a cash cow that they just want to like, use as much as possible kind of thing. But we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping, like, I don't mind it if it's like the animated stuff doesn't bother me so much, because it's just like, I don't know, it's not like there's lower stakes. There's a ton of time and effort and everything put into it, but like it's just kind of easier to digest, and it just feels like a separate thing from just like TV shows, movies, like that. Like the live action stuff just seems like a bit more, I don't know, oppressive times when it's just a ton of that's getting thrown at you.
There's something about the live action that feels so self-important that I like. It's hard for me to take it seriously all the time, because it's like all these people and all these costumes, and you make you look bigger and make you look smaller. Like you don't need to do all that shit. Like you can just have beautiful drawings, and then you don't like, I don't know, I get taken out of the world a little bit when it's live action, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, how did they do this, or like what what's the trick that they did to manipulate this?
I definitely get taken out of that when it's like, when it's a practical thing. I enjoy that a lot, especially like the forced perspective from the the original trilogy and stuff like that, because it's just sort of like seamless to me, and it's all done in camera and everything like that. What I get taken out is like in the Hobbit trilogy, or the worst one for me was Quantumania, the Ant-Man one, where I was just like, I can't get into it. Like when it's just the special effects, it just doesn't blend into, like, it just takes me out of it so much from like it's way too distracting kind of thing.
You're like nothing that I'm looking at on screen is real. It's all computer generated.
Flat lighting just coming from the same side, and just like they're in the quantum realm, but it's just like I'm like, I don't know, it just looks fake to me and small. Like I don't know, and I get the quantum realm is small, but like the sets seem small. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more claustrophobic. Absolutely. Even though they're all in like a huge, expansive area, it's like they're only in like this much space. Like I mean, also there's the whole like, what was it, like making Ian McKellen cry? Like the Hobbits like broke him. Like the Hobbit movies broke him. Like he was like sitting in like a green screen and he's surrounded by nothing, and they're like, okay, and then a character's talking to you and you eat an apple and you're not holding it, and he just sat down and wept because he was like, I didn't make this movie, like I didn't do this to deal with all the crap. Like I did this to like return to like the fun I had and all the like filmmaking we were doing. And like, we don't do that no more. I was like,
I hope they don't make him cry, because he's said he was going to play Gandalf until he physically cannot play Gandalf anymore.
I know, and I'm like, I like that, but also don't break him anymore. Like,
please.
Then please give him, then only shoot him in locations with props.
Yeah.
Please.
Give him a real apple. He can.
Yeah, give him a real apple to bite or whatever.
All right, that's our episode for today. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a comment, rank us, maybe say hi. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us out a ton. We really appreciate it. Check out our Patreon. You can join for free. There's paid tiers as well. You get early access to videos. We're releasing a video today as we speak. It is new power-ups for Mario. So that got released before it released on YouTube. You get merch discounts, other special promotions, all that kind of fun stuff, original Patreon originals. Sal, what would you like to plug?
I'll plug myself. I'll just continue to plug myself until I have something else to plug. But check us out over at youtube.com/comicpop and Comic Pop Returns, where we make podcasts not unlike these.
AJ?
I'm gonna plug The Greatest Adventure.
Sing the whole song right now. Sing it.
I don't know it all. I need
Make it up. Just go.
I'll just be Bilbo while you do it.
Bilbo is sitting in his kitchen. He hates having guests. The people walk around. He thinks they're going to break his dishes. The Greatest Adventure. He wants to leave his house for the first time ever.
Okay.
Is that something?
That was fucking fantastic. I'm telling everybody right now, you'll already see it in the edit, but I'm putting a reverb on AJ's voice and a slow push in on Sal's face.
Just being miserable.
The whole time.
Awesome. Yay.
If I had time, I would rotoscope it.
Oh my God.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube or listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We like you, and we hope you like us.
Sal's mic always comes in like I don't have to do really anything to Sal's mic. It's pretty recorded at like a really good level.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I just mute Sal's mic.
Yeah.
And then I redub it.
That's a good.
Surprised you didn't notice. It's pretty.
I don't watch the show.
Rude.